Well, hey everyone, welcome back to another Wildwoods Beekeeping podcast. I appreciate you joining us tonight. And tonight we have Keith from Half Tracks and Honeybees. He watches the channel. I've talked to him. I actually haven't talked to you before. I actually in person. So this is our first time, interacting. But he's always in the comments and stuff, and supports here. So I decided I think it'd be a good chat to get him on, and here we are. And I appreciate you, Keith, joining us tonight. If you
Hey,
could, before we get into some of the topics that we have tonight, since the bees are booming right now, bees are doing well. Everybody out there is having a blast, doing what they're doing with their bees. Their bees are doing great. But before we get into all the good stuff that's, going on in the bee world and some other things that's going on, with both our, bees in our bee yards, I was wondering if you could just briefly share us kind of how you got started into beekeeping, and people who don't know you, kind of who you are and how you got into beekeeping, and some of the other things that you've done that kind of led up to what you're doing now.
well, thanks. These things. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I guess I got into beekeeping maybe 10, 12 years ago. A friend of mine gave me a hive. For years, I would make a little bee, and then they would die over the winter, and then I would buy a few more bees, and then make a little honey, and they would did that for a few years, and then got out of it for a while, and then probably got back to reading books and trying to learn and figure out how to keep these crazy critters, and probably was doing. I started getting my bees through the winter, and I guess this is my 5th year that I haven't. As who I am, I'm retired now after being as an electronic technician back in the early 80s. Past 20 years, maintenance manager, facility manager, a lot of different great companies. Worked with a lot of great folks, and over the years, it's amazing what you can learn if you just keep your mouth shut and watch folks. I've worked with a lot of good craft people, plumbers, welders, millwrights, electricians, technicians, carpenters. All of those craft people over the years at all the different companies. I tried to pay attention to what they were doing and learn something, and now it's made me halfway decent at a lot of different things. That in retirement, it definitely keeps me occupied. So that's kind of where we're at today.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. Bees are very interesting and very fun to learn about. I enjoy doing it. That's why I'm here. There's a lot of fun things about them, just to learn about them. And, a lot of people like to go out there and, just sit down and listen to bees. I like to do the same thing. I've grown fond to them. I really like, working with them. And there's a lot of times where I go at the bee yard and I don't even have a smoker, which I probably need to start bringing a smoker, because there's sometimes where the bees are, a little defensive sometimes. Sometimes whenever I go out there and I'm opening them up. So sometime I might start. One day you guys will see a smoker whenever I need to do it. Now the hive it'd probably be on is probably my swarm that I caught. A lot of people know that I call that swarm. It's pretty defensive. It's pretty they're kind of spicy. So I need to. Whenever I went there, they wouldn't let me touch them, but I still was able to check and look and see how they're doing. Able to get in there and check it out. Now, I was wondering if you could share with us kind of how your honey is going, since now we're May and a lot of beekeepers are probably extracting. We talked a little bit about it behind the scenes, of course. I was wondering if you could just share with us, when everybody's watching, of course, kind of how your flow is going, some of the flowers that you have that your bees really like this month and, this year, and kind of how, your flow is going and the honey that you're getting.
Yeah, it's been mostly an early season all the way around. Um, I was thinking it kind of caught up back to normal, even though normal was probably still early based on what it was 10 years ago. But I went into my hives, I guess it was 2 weeks ago Tuesday, um, and I pulled 200 pounds of honey off of, I think I've got 10 or 11 hives that I count as my production hives. But I really just wanted it to get out of the way before the main show kicked in around here, which is a tulip poplar. Before that, not really sure what all it is. I've never really pulled honey that early. It was a nice golden color, still a little bit dark, but I guess maple, holly, henbit, dead nettle. Uh, Not really sure. It was before the blackberries. It was before the poplars. It was before the black locusts. So, but anyway, I went back into them this past Friday, and I pulled another 200 pounds, close to 30 gallons. And this was pretty much the same stuff, the same kind of a golden brown colored, not the burgundy tulip poplar that I know they're probably bringing in now. So yeah, I've already made as much honey this year as I made all of last year. So I've got absolutely zero complaints about the flow around this area. I'll be curious to see how it goes this week. We've had a couple of days of rain, and I know the girls will be wide open tomorrow. It's supposed to be sunny and around 80. So the flow is still alive and well around here.
Definitely. Good stuff. Flow is going good here. We still have Privet going. That's one of our biggest producers. As a lot of people know, Privet's really good. This year, I think it's going to be really good for honey. Where we're at last year, I wasn't able to get any, of course, as many people know. But this year, I think I will be able to get some, which I'm pretty excited about. But first, I'm going to make sure my extractor still works good because I haven't used it in 2 to 3 years. So it's for a while. Just been in a cover with a trash bag to make sure the moisture, of course, gets in there. But I gotta open it up because I haven't done it for a while. Open it up and run the motor, make sure everything's still working
Oh yeah,
smoothly. I'm sure probably everything's going good there. Which
yeah.
whenever I do it, of course I'll probably make a video of it. People will be able to
Mm,
see when I get to extraction time, which will probably
mm,
be, I'm hoping, 2 weeks or something. I still gotta
yeah.
wait a little bit just to let the bees
Mm,
start. I gotta make them, or let them be able to finish up my one seeper that I have on that I added 10 days ago, which is 4 frames full, and the bees are probably about to start packing it too. So those two will be two seepers. My other hives that, my nukes that are
mm,
full 10 frame boxes, I added
mm,
supers yesterday. I think yesterday it was, and I'm gonna wait. Hopefully, they'll draw them out too.
mm.
So we'll see how things go.
Yeah, the extraction is a big change for me this year. Last year I had the a little 4 frame hand crank that I put about 52 gallons. So this year at the Bee Expo, I bought a Hill electric. So that has really been nice, loading that bad boy up and pushing a button and turning the knob and just watch the honey come out. That has been my operation.
Uh, Brian has a question for you, and he asks, Keith, do you sell anything beyond honey?
Really generate a lot of wax to do much with. Um, my wife does take sheets of a wax comb and roll a little machine called a cricket that does stencils. So she's made a lot of stencils to go on little honey jars that I'll be selling at the market. But the main thing that I'm doing at the market is see there plastic. So um, no not a lot of bells and whistles at this point.
Yeah, I get you. I've
Would like to get into some other things, but I'm just not there yet.
yeah, definitely. Sometimes I always I've been I've always thought about doing like queen rearing and some other things too, but I've mostly stick around honey for the time being. We'll see kind of where it goes in the
Yeah,
future. We'll see how
yeah.
things go, and plan maybe try to do some queens. We'll see how everything goes.
Now I do sell a few hives. I was just thinking about the market because our market starts tomorrow, so I've got market on the mind. I do sell some complete hives and a few nukes to some of the folks that I help. I help about 5 different people right now, and I've sold them complete hives and some equipment, and then help them manage their operation. So yeah, last week I sold. I think it was last week. I got up to 30 hives, which is too many. I wanted about 20. So I sold 3, got down to 27, and I got home and I had 2 swarms and swarm boxes. So I was right back at 29. So selling the 3 didn't do me a whole lot of good, but I guess it's better than being at 32. So uh, yeah, swarms. I've caught lots of swarms this year, and thankfully they weren't all mine. Last year I caught a lot of swarms, but probably 95% of them were my bees. This year I only know of my hive swarming couple 3 times, and I caught 2 of them. I think one of them flew away over the trees, but I caught another one just a few days ago. I was working on the video for it today. It was a pretty interesting adventure. I think it'll make a good video. They lit out in the woods on a tree, so I had to move all my stuff into the woods, which was interesting. But that's kind of the two-edged sword with a swarm. You hate to see them coming out of your hives, but man, I like catching a swarm. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Richard R. Bryan Jr., when you're answering the question from Brian, he says, keeps cutting out. Can you repeat what you
Oh
know,
Lord. I don't know who is cutting out. Am I cutting out, or are you cutting out, or both of us?
I think you were cutting out a couple times. Right now, you're good. You just cut out, during the time whenever you're talking about, beyond honey and stuff. But now
Yeah.
you sound good.
Okay.
So it's
Not
just a
sure.
points. Oops.
Oh, okay. It was me. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go out and climb the phone pole and jiggle the wires.
Yeah. Sometimes it just, I've had it happen a couple times where at my signal just like goes up and then it goes down. But I never got a swarm yet. Maybe this year from Brian. Yep. Swarms are definitely fun. That's what we're talking about. Catching them.
Yeah, it's fishing for bees is what I call it. Like if you go out and you see a few scouts around the swarm trap, it's like when you see the float bobbing when you're fishing in a pond. But it's a lot of fun.
Definitely. Richard.
But I've pulled down. I think I've pulled down all of my swarm traps, but 2. I've about caught enough this year. I'm running out of equipment. I've got another order in up at Miller Bee Supply up in North Wilkesboro. Hopefully, I get to pick it up tomorrow. So I thought I had plenty, but once again, I don't. So
Yeah, definitely. I have fun doing that. I've caught a couple. I haven't caught a lot, but the ones that I've caught was pretty fun. Now, I will say, for people wondering, last year I tried to get like a cutout out of a trailer. So, I'm not sure if they're there, but we contacted the guy that had a trailer and stuff, and he said that he was going to check and make sure we're still there to let us know. So that's the latest update I have on there. So I'll let everybody know if they're still there, which we haven't heard back. So they probably might have already left or something. Which I don't know if they would, or they might have not made it through winter. But we'll see how that goes.
Mm. Yeah. So all your nukes and are doing well since you installed them.
That's right, they are doing well. They're doing unbelievably, good. Queens are laying good. They have brood. They have a lot of honey. I couldn't believe it, all the honey that they have in each one. You know, like all the outside frames that I had in there are pretty much full of honey,
Mhm.
and all of them are full. Almost all of them are probably like 8. One of them might be 7. One of them might be 9. I think some are approaching 10, but I think they're mostly like 9 and 8. So they're doing really well, and I'm excited to see how they do. This year I added supers on a lot of them, and we'll see if they can draw those out and if we can get some honey in there. And if we can, we could have maybe hopefully 3 to 4 supers. I'm good with that. Since
Mhm.
about 10 frames deep will make about a gallon. So I guess 2 supers are about a full deep, I would say, somewhere around there. Maybe not fully, but somewhere around there. 2 deep should make about a gallon worth of honey. If I can get 4, I could just make 2 gallon. 10
Mhm.
gallons.
Mhm.
So that would be plenty enough for me. I could sell a good bit. I could sell a good bit to save up for more boxes or things that I need in the future. Right now, I'm pretty good. I'm stoked on boxes. I don't need any more boxes. I got a lot of empty frames. Like, there's a lot of frames that I have that I need to go through out in the B yard and sort through that are just empty that I could probably put foundation in. But there's a lot of them that have a different type of end to them, so like you can't put any foundation in it, unfortunately. So I'd have to put something different in it, which we'll see how that works out. I got to sort through a lot of frames to see which ones I can put some foundation in and which ones I can't, because I have some like a full box that's like 12 by 12 by 12 box or something, big box just full of super frames that are empty. But unfortunately, those frames are frames that have a different type of inside thing where some have like a little slot where where you can slide a foundation, and this one doesn't. It has one that's opposite, that's kind of going up. It's like a slant or whatever in the middle, so I can't put any like foundation in it, unfortunately. So I gotta go through there and see how I can use them, because I can use them. I can put them in there and put them empty. But the only problem I've had with that before, I've done that before actually in the past, and whenever I put it in the extractor, spinning so fast, a lot of times whenever it's empty, no foundation, all that comb just comes off and it makes a big mess in the extractor. So I've haven't had really
Mhm.
good success with that, which like maybe I would get lucky and it wouldn't happen. But I like to use foundation. But what I could do, and I've thought about this before, if I want to make like comb honey, I could just slice it off. It'd be nice if I wanted to do that. So we'll see how it goes. I gotta sort through it.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to make some comb honey this year. That's something I've never really done before. I didn't have that much of a request for it, but I did have a few folks that wanted some. So I've got a one of the guys that I'm helping. I fixed him up a super, and I've got a super of frames with starter strips, um,
Yeah,
and they I just have put it on my hive. I actually put it on a strong swarm that I caught on a friend of mine's hives. I put it on his, and they have really drawn it out, and it's looking good. He's going to have more drawn comb or more comb honey than he knows what to do with. But that's what he wanted, so we'll see what we can do.
yeah, definitely. So you might have said it earlier, but I probably honestly forgot. But how many halves are you at? Currently right now.
I think I'm at 29 right now,
Nice.
and that's
That's a good
counting.
number.
Yeah, that's I'm counting about 11 hives as my production hives, and the rest of those are nukes, swarms, splits, just my smaller stuff, the hives that I say I play with. Um, those are the ones. All of my I did that video recently where I did I checked 5 hives that I did walkaway splits on. Um, I do all walkaways because I do it on my hives that I'm not expecting any honey off of. So if it takes 30 days, which when I do a walkaway, I'll walk away for 30 days. I don't go back into it. I might open the top, maybe give them some food if I think they need it while they're making a queen. But um, yeah, my production hives I don't play with. My other hives, those are the ones I do the splits and that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
works out pretty good.
that's good. You know, but that's all I guess anybody could say. My bees are doing well. I know a lot of beekeepers' bees are out there doing, good. Um, Now I've been watching closely for swarming, which is a big topic. Bees will still swarm now, of course. So I've still been on the watch, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I hope. I still gonna keep a good watch on it. But after May and in June, they're probably less likely to swarm, but still possibilities. So I'll still check them and make sure they don't decide, oh, we're getting big, let's just go and swarm.
Yeah, yeah. I've asked the question on a couple of chats if folks think when you get into a big flow, if that helps to squelch the swarm tendency. And I get mixed answers, just like everything else with beekeeping. There's very few definites. Uh, I think it does a little bit, not totally, because I have two of my production hives have swarmed, but uh, they have a lot of bees in those hives. I've been walking the tightrope on those hives this year between I tell people between strong and gone. Um, I've not split them. I've done a lot of brood management, separating the brood, putting in drawn comb, between the brood frames, doing all kinds of things, trying to make the queen think she's got plenty of room. Gosh, I put supers on back in March, I guess. So it's worked well for me thus far. I haven't had nearly the trouble that I had last year with my own hive swarming. Is it perfect? No, no. I know at least 2 of them have swarmed, but it's a lot better than it was last year. So I'll count that as a win.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still, like I said, I'm still watching for it, but I think it's still important. But I'm hoping to catch some more swarms in this year. Maybe do some cutouts. Try to up all my numbers because I'm not going to be probably doing any splits like purposeful splits unless if they decide okay we're going to swarm. That's whenever I'm going to do a split. I'm just going to let them build up and get strong. The next year I can decide. All right, I have 8, 7, whatever I come out with, 6 or whatever, and decide. All right, I can do. Let's say if I have 7, I can have 4 for production, doing honey, all that good stuff, and 3 for making some splits, and then I can grow and be kind of like thoughtful of what I'm doing and have like good purposes. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I could split all of them, but I won't get any honey.
Right,
And
right.
and if I do the other thing around, if I just do just no splitting and just honey, then I'm not going to be expanding. And it's like I could split it up. If I came out with 6, I could split it down the middle. I could do 3 for honey and 3 for splitting. Or if I wanted to, I didn't want to grow as much, I could do 2 split and 4 for honey. Or whatever, however it comes up in future. That's probably how I'm going to come out of winter next year, wanting to kind of do it in that way. Now I could do
Right.
or if I wanted to next year, depending on how everything goes, I could have all my hives that come out of winter and just say, okay, all these hives, I'm just gonna um, use them for honey, and then I could just catch swarms for my production hives, or I'm trying to expand and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. I've been thinking for a while, like you know, I've honestly been thinking also about next year because all these bees now, you know, I'll be able to, hopefully be able to overwinter them good, have a better strategy, get into spring next year and have a solid plan. As well as now, I've been thinking a lot about what I'm going to be doing now. So, I think it's important, as I'm sure you probably do the same. I'm sure everybody does the same thing. Just sitting down thinking, all right, I have all my bees. What's my plan, with all the bees this year, next year, and, so on, of course. So we'll see how everything goes. And we'll see how.
Oh yeah, I mean, the poor beekeeper spends the whole winter planning for the next spring. And usually beekeepers are about a season ahead anyway. A lot of folks are already looking towards late summer, early fall. Where they're going to end up at, what they're going to do for mite treatments. You got to stay ahead of the girls, and but then you also got to be flexible. Everybody knows. On some of my videos, I talk about having plans. You go into a hive, you got plan A, plan B. You pop the top, and everything changes.
Oh, yeah.
What you see is not what you expected. So I think that's one of the things I enjoy about beekeeping is the planning and the troubleshooting and just trying to make good decisions on what to do based on what you see. So I think that's a lot of the fun of it.
Definitely, I think the same thing. And there's so many times where I go out to the bee yard and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And all of it's going to work out perfect. And I get into the hive and it's not perfect. And I have to change everything. And I'm like, all right, I'll
Yeah.
do plan B. Plan B will work
Mm.
great. Then
Yeah.
I'll probably end up on C. Then I end up
Mhm.
on probably plan D before it actually works. So, that's how it goes for me. And,
Mm.
so the bees always, always be flexible whenever
Right.
you.
Right. Yeah. And then sometimes your good intentions get all messed up. That those 5 hives that I checked that I did walk away splits. Really, the only one I had an issue with was the one that I was actually the least concerned about because I made that split so strong. Well, I made the split so strong that it actually swarmed on me at some point, and when I looked at them, instead of having a good looking group, they had swarmed, and I had a swarm cell and some cap brood. So that was the one that I was least worried about. So I guess they showed me. Uh,
Yeah.
but we dumped a swarm in that box, so that revved them right up. That's going to be I think an amazing hive. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Definitely. Let's see. My next round of splits will be July after flow. I will be grafting, so I have made a queens ready for then. I'm looking for 40 production and 20 to 5 over 5 for a nuke battery. Yep, kind of
Sweet.
definitely. I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody joining us tonight. We have a good batch of folks here. We have like Redfish. Good to see you. Brian from Flower Street Farm Bees. We'll be having him on next week.
Cool.
Dennett and Jack. A lot of familiar names. Brian, good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. And we got Lisa. She's actually in Ozark, so she has pretty much the same things that's going on. She's probably in the middle of me and then Bruce, in Dauphin. So, we're all not too far. Michelle Spillman, good to see you.
Hey, Michelle. I know her.
See, I think we covered everybody, and then Richard, and we also got Brian. So the other Brian, not the other Brian. That 2 Brians. John, good to see you in here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So, and we also have Ricky from Horizontal Hives. I've always thought about getting a horizontal hive, but never got around to it, unfortunately. Larry,
Hey, Ricky.
you have to watch Keith's Killer Bees. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, Ricky and his wife Ruth, they came over and visited this past weekend. So
Nice,
we walked around the place.
nice. Well, I do have another topic, to talk about, and it kind of has to go, with genetics and stuff. And I've always thought over this month about my genetic lines, of course. Do you have a specific genetic line that you have, Italians, or do you have a specific one that you like? And if you could share with us a little bit of kind of, if you do have one, a favorable one other than another, because each trait has their differences. Like Russians handle, for me, honey differently than Italians. So what's your kind of preference on things like that?
Yeah, I really, I'm kind of like Greg, saying that I've got mutts. He's got his Appalachian mutts. I guess back when I was actually buying some bees and buying queens, the fella I got them from, he always said they were Italian. But I really haven't bought any bees or queens, I guess, for about at least 4 years. So I've just done walkaways and just using my local stock, I guess you would say. Um, I've got a mixture of bees. I've got pretty golden bees. I've got black bees. I've got golden queens. I've got dark queens. Um, like I said, I just call them mutts, shack down mutts. I don't. I've never really tried to keep them they're getting through the winter well. They're well behaved, making a lot of honey for me. So whatever they are, I don't have any complaints.
Yeah, definitely. And I've kept the different genetics before. I've never kept Caucasians or that I know of course. Maybe I have. I have no idea, but I do know for a fact that most of my line out of my bee yard is mostly Italians. But then, of course, my swarm is local genetics, so I have no idea what they are. But I really like local
Mhm.
genetics, even though most of my local genetics are pretty mean. But just one of the downsides of them is that a lot of the local bees are mean. And whenever I collected a swarm, they're so nice. I figured they'd be a really nice hive, but then once the queen started to lay, they weren't nice. They were mean whenever I opened them. I opened them, they started pouring out right when I opened them, and I couldn't inspect them. I was like, well, I may have to come back with a smoker. First time I've ever really had a need for a smoker because, the last couple of times I've really, checked bees, I just say, well, my bees are usually nice, of course. So then I don't really, I've never really bothered much lately for, you know, smoke, but I'm probably about to start. I probably need to, they'd probably be a little bit nicer, but I've just
Mm,
grown used to the bees, right? So I've always
mm.
able to work bees without smashing them, and learn how to, um, what's the word? I've been really able to handle them good without smoke, depending on how nice they are. If they're my nice bees that I have, I do find them without smoke, but with the mean bees, I just multiple times where I just have to, all right, I give it. I got to go get smoke.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the same way. I mean, I go Friday when I was working with my honey supers. I didn't use any smoke, and I don't use gloves most of the time unless they get crazy. But a lot of times, if you go down in the brood chamber, it depends. The weather, a lot of things have to do with it, but a little bit of smoke sometimes goes a long ways to calm the ladies down and make
Oh
them
yeah,
make them easier to work with. And especially sometimes when you pull a box and they all come boiling out and go all over the sides and the top and everywhere. The smoke kind of helps get them back in the box so you can put the hive back together. So uh, yeah, there's a time and a place for it.
oh yeah, definitely. I agree. It's always a good place for smoke, and now of course it depends on what hive I am in and what I'm doing. If I'm just checking a super, there's
Mhm.
just a lot of times where I'm just like, well, if I'm only checking one super, if I have a specific purpose while I'm
Mhm.
going out the bee yard, I won't worry about it. If I'm going out there to check all the bees, and one of my hives is really mean, or two of them, or even all of them, I'll take a little bit of smoke out there just to as a little extra there. But we'll
Mhm.
see, how that turns out and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for the seat for the remainder of the season. Now, here's one question I do want to ask you, which I'm not sure when your flow ends. So, when exactly does your spring flow usually end for your area?
Normally, I've not been doing it for a lot of years, but it seems like usually early mid July things are winding down around here, uh, and pretty much all the way into August. Uh, it would be I guess what would be considered a dearth. Not a whole lot blooming until the goldenrod and the asters fire up late August, early September. Um, that might be early this year. I noticed when Ricky was over here, Horizontal Hives, the one of the fields right across from where some of my hives are, it's just full of goldenrod, and it's already a foot tall. Uh, I don't remember the goldenrod being that tall this early in the year. So uh, last year I had a good crop and it was everywhere, and but then it quit raining, so never did make any nectar off of the goldenrod. The bees collected some pollen, but it didn't really. You can't count on the fall flow around here. But
Yeah.
uh, but back to your original question, yeah, I think it's over with in here around here. July, August. That is that's the tough time when anytime you crack a hive, when you start trying to do an inspection, sometimes you just have to back out of it because the whole bee yard just goes crazy. Um, sometimes they're not really robbing each other. Just the smell of the honey gets out in the air, and it's like they all just come out to play, and it just makes a huge mess, and it takes a couple of hours to get everything calmed back down. So not a fun time to work the bees like it is right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've always, this time I've there was something different. But sometimes bees get a little bit more defensive, of course. Since I've had that happen before.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's normal. It happens. Every year. But yeah, we'll see how everything goes and how. Hopefully, I really want to get some honey this year, and it's looking like we will. I just need like another, hopefully 2 to 3 weeks that they'll still have a really really good flow. Get all the supers drawn out. Um,
No, when is your flow over with?
Me,
Yeah.
well, no, I've had it end. Uh, could be mid June. It could be early June. It could be late June. Um, it could be late May. It's always really different. Um, this year we had a very early start, so that was a good thing for us. And I also got my nukes earlier than I expected, which will also help out with maybe my nukes will be able to be some producers this year. Next year, I want them, they should be really good producers. This year, I'm not really sure if they're going to get all my super drawn out in time before this flow ends, because it'll probably be another week or two before it's fully drawn out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And probably
Yeah.
another more 2 weeks. So it'll be about 4 weeks, probably even more till those supers are ready. Now I
Right.
know the supers on my hive that's doing really well, and they're drawing it out of and stuff. It should be ready in about 2 weeks. It's
Yeah.
pending, but it's and somewhere around. I'm thinking June will probably be maybe we could get away with really early July, but I'm thinking more like late June-ish. Um, but all of May, I think we're pretty good. Flowers should bloom really well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we still have privet. We were talking earlier behind the scenes, and you're asking me if we had tallow, and I'm not sure if we have tallow. Now, if Lisa is in here, I'm not a big flower guy, as people know. So when people ask me about flowers, I'm like, well, I know some of the basic things. We have white clover, we have things like that. But Lisa, do you know if we have tallow? If you're still in here, because I'm really curious to know if we have tallow, because tallow is a good flower. It's good. I don't know if we have it or not. If she doesn't know, I'll look it up and I'll let you guys know. But somewhere around June-ish, should probably late June, mid June.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing I'll probably do, and I'll plan on doing it again this year. Once the flow is over with, I might do a round of oxalic acid. But on my production hives, it's always a good time. The flow stops. You still got hives full of bees. Throw some foundation on them and give them some light sugar syrup. Let them draw out some comb for you. Um, it's a good use for the all that energy and all that workforce that you have in the hive. Let them draw out some comb for you. You
Yeah.
know, sugar syrup, but that's pretty cheap compared to getting some more drawn comb, which we all know you can never seem to have enough of that stuff. So
Yeah. Definitely. Lisa said, yes, and the tallow is starting to tazzle. Tallow is usually our biggest flow, and it should be starting in a week or two. That sounds good. I figured we would have tallow, but I really didn't know for sure. So thanks, Lisa, for clarifying all that. So it's official. We do have tallow, and tallow probably will start in about a week, like she said, or 2 weeks or something. So we'll have some good flow there.
yeah, that should be interesting. Listening to the folks down your way,
Yeah.
it sounds like when the Lisa might can chime back in. It sounds like when the tallow hits, it hits hard and hits quick, and the supers will just fill up in no time. They'll just be dripping. So that sounds like
Yeah. Let's see here. Real quick, I gotta change out my plug, so you may not hear me for a second. I gotta figure out how to charge my computer. My charger is my computer's at 18%. Oh, I pressed the wrong button.
well, I see your post, Lisa. So y'all are dry right now. You need some rain to get the tallow boosted, get some moisture in it.
All right, there you go. I think I had to unplug my mic and plug in my computer to make my computer charge. There you go. Yeah, two of those trees. Bruce says they can draw out and fill a super in a week on tallow.
Wow, that's pretty cool, redfish.
Well, yeah, hopefully that will, once that tallow flow starts kind of going, we can do that. I'll have to watch that. I'll let you guys know. Maybe the supers on my nukes, maybe they can fill those out pretty quick. And the thing is, bees are already bringing in so much honey. So to think that we still have tallow coming in, which will be pretty big and hit us hard, it's like, wow, we started really early on our flow. We didn't have any cold snaps. We had one, but it wasn't too bad. Didn't kill our plants like last year did. So this year was a good year. Of course, we kind of risked it again, going, being early again. We could have got a bad cold snap and kill everything. Thankfully, we didn't.
Yeah, yeah, that was a tough year for a lot of y'all last year.
Yeah, it was terrible. Unfortunately, I haven't seen as many beetles. I've seen a couple beetles, but I haven't seen as many because last year, I don't know. From this year to last year, I just noticed so much of a difference in the beetles. I don't know what happened to them there. It's like last year they're everywhere. This year they're kind of reduced a little bit. Now, if there's still beetles in there, I still see them walking around, but not as many as we usually have.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I haven't seen that many up here this year. I had more last year than I had ever seen before, but they're looking good this year. I did treat around all my hives with Grubex, so that might have helped me out a little bit. So yeah, Lisa, I see what you did there as far as pulling your supers to make room for the tallow. That's kind of what I was doing to make room for the tulip poplar.
yeah,
We definitely me and Grayson talked about that before we went on. How quick they can plug out a brood box if you don't give them anywhere to put the nectar, they're going to keep bringing it in. So
that's right.
you got to even your supers might not be full, but you need to go ahead and get that stuff out of there. give them some room.
That's right. And what I plan to do also is once my, like tomorrow, what I want to do. I've been keeping close watch on it, and I've been doing okay. But before you know it, my brood boxes will be full of honey, and I'll be in a situation where I gotta take at least 7 frames out, maybe 5 at least, and put empty comb in there so that the bees can draw it out, and there can be room for the queen to lay, and also add so many supers so that they have somewhere else to store it. So what I can do is I can take some of my honey out, put new comb in it, and spin it out, and use it for myself. So I've been keeping close watch on that because I've had a lot of honey-bound colonies before, and the bees. It's unbelievable how fast the bees will fill it, cap it, and before you know it, you go back and have it. And you're like, we have a problem here. Too much honey, and you're like, oh, what do I do with it? And the only real thing you can do with it, I guess, is take it and spit it out, empty it out, and then put it right back in the hive. Hopefully, the queen will lay before the bees start backfilling it with nectar, which is what happens a lot.
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing I try to do. Like on Friday when I pull my honey, I try to pull it off, extract it, and get the supers back on the same day to give the ladies somewhere to go. Some of your big hives have so many bees in it, you can't just, if you got running 2 or 3 supers full of bees, you push all those bees down into the brood chamber. They really need somewhere to go. And if I had more drawn comb, more supers, I could just, throw the supers on and wouldn't have to worry about putting the wets back on so quick. But, as usual, I thought, I'd be in my shop counting all my drawn comb supers this winter and thinking, oh boy, I got plenty. And then spring is here, the flow is here, and I ain't got plenty. I got barely enough. So I need to be drawing some more.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in those time where I have a lot of equipment. We can talk about a little bit about equipment too. Whenever before you know it, you're out of equipment. Like before you know it, you're like, we don't have much equipment. But whenever you're going back, make sure you have everything. And winter, you're like, we have way much more than we need. Then you get into spring, and we don't have enough.
Yeah.
Then you have to go Man Lake or wherever you buy your equipment and buy more. It comes, you use it, you have enough for that year. Then next year, once you store all the stuff away, all the boxes, you're like, all right, this will be enough. There's no way we're going to use all this plus more. I mean, same thing happens as last year, and it continues. And once you grow, and stuff. And I think I have enough equipment for this year. I should have enough for what I need so far. I don't think I'll need any more, but I may be the guy to say, I may end up using all the supers that I have, and and actually to say, I've added a lot of supers to my hives, and if those actually they draw those out plus more, once that tallow kicks in, and it only takes them a week, maybe 2, to draw it out fast, I'll be in trouble because I don't have any more much more foundation. I've used a lot of it, and what I do have a lot of is empty frames. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I've been thinking, well, I can make some, comb honey, and do that, but it's going to take forever for me to, finish all those frames out and then store them, of course. I have a lot of them. You wouldn't believe how many I have. And unfortunately, at that time, we didn't think about, well, maybe we need to put some slots in there so we can put some foundation in there. We didn't think about that. So we don't have any slots. So I've been thinking, lately on, well, I'm going to have to use them empty. There's no way I can, add slots to them. I've already thought about that. And I was thinking, could I do that? Is there even a way? Because, they're already stapled. They're already stapled and stuff. And, I could, if I got the dimensions just right, it's possible. I ain't gonna say it's impossible, but I'd probably have to take the whole frame apart to be able to do that, and then be able to get a what do you call those things? The name will come to me. A special blade on a table saw, or a router table, perfect dimensions and stuff to do it. You'd probably have to use a table saw, because I don't think a router table you can do that on that. What I'm talking about is you have to get a special router bit if you're gonna. I mean a saw blade to do that, and be able to run it through there. And I have about like 80 of those, both sides. So I'd have to do that like 150 times. So we'd have to be doing that for a long time to get all of them done, and then plus all the frames. I'll figure it out. I have time to, figure out what I'm gonna be doing with the frames, how I'm gonna use them, if I'm going to do that. And here's my problem. I could use all of them in one, but since they're empty, I have to have one in the middle, right? I have to have 5 frames that have foundation, 5 frames that are empty, so then they don't go all these different directions. If I just use 10 empty, I'm in trouble. The bees are going to make a mess in there, and then I'm going to open it. I'm going to try to lift it, and comb's going vertical, or it's going horizontally, or it's going to go, how the bees do. So, I have to figure that out. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah. But yeah, it sounds like you need to be making some plans if the tellow's coming.
Oh, yeah. Tellow's coming, and I have to figure it out. I'll figure it out. There's times where I try to do something like this. Let's say for this mic, for instance, I used a mic. There's like 5 times where I try to use it, and I finally figured out how I could use it properly. It took me a while to figure it out, but I figured it out. So I'll figure it out. I just have to think about it. We'll see how it goes. We had a question here that I almost missed from Redfish. And he asked, how much honey have you extracted so far, Keith?
I think I'm right about around 50 gallons, around 600 pounds right now. So, looking at least one more pull this month, maybe 2. It's really hard to say. They week and a half. So, with the rain that we're having, as long as we don't have too much rain, just enough, it should really keep 50 gallons right now. So, no complaints with that. I've actually already sold quite a bit. So it's going well. The market starts tomorrow, and then again on it'll be every Tuesday and every Saturday. We didn't have Saturday markets last year, so that'll be a good change for this year. So shouldn't be a problem selling a bit more. But I live in a pretty small place. You see a lot of the same customers coming in from market to market, and honey's one of those items where when they come to the market the next week, they probably don't need another quart of honey. It's not like tomatoes or corn or beans where you take it home and you eat it in the next week. Last year I know I sold a lot of honey early on, and then it kind of calmed down a bit. And then I sold some more towards the fall. So it'll be interesting to see if it plays out the same way this year.
Definitely. Yeah, I think we'll all have a good crop, be able to sell some honey, and reinvest, that money into our bees. That's what I plan to do. If I can make some good honey, sell it, then all the money that I have, I can reinvest it into most likely more supers or whatever, or more equipment for next year.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a good way to do it. Use your cash flow to grow your business, and that's what I did. I had a good year last year, so I got the extractor. If I have another good year this year, maybe a bottling tank, or like you say, you can always buy a lot more wood. So yeah,
Yeah.
however you want to grow it.
However you want to grow it, if you want to, you know, buy a bottling tank
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, you're a creamer. A lot of people use creamers to cream their honey.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a good business to do one day. I've thought about doing a lot of different things. But first, I think I'm going to stick with what I do. And then once I grow a little bit, like I've talked about before, then I'll get into some of these other things. Queen rearing is something that I would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
I did it last year, and it was okay. I didn't do too bad of a job, but of course, never really did anything. I never really did anything with that last year. This year, I guess I'm kind of on honey. I'm gonna do honey this year. I'm not really in the right spot where I would like to be to do, raising queens. Hopefully next year or the year after, I'm on in a rush at all. I just kind of want to take it slowly, and once I can get into good position, I can start selling queens. I can start selling honey. I can sell wax if I want to. I can sell, what I want to. Once I get into a good position, which is what I plan to do, and see how everything works out in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's a good way. That's a good way to do it. There's lots of different ways you can go with bees. So uh, I'm sure you'll find the right one that works for you.
Definitely. There's a lot of different ways, many techniques, many opinions. That's the thing I really like about beekeeping. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. There isn't just
Yep.
one way to do it. There's
Yep.
multiple things that you can do. And according to what you want to do with your bees.
Yep. Yep.
Which is one of my favorite part of beekeeping. Having different options. You able do what you kind of want to do with your business. If you want to make beekeeping business, of course, which I've always thought about making a business out of beekeeping. I'm just not in the perfect spot for making it a business yet. No, but I'll get into a position where I'll be able to get in the right spot and make a business out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Definitely, and just a lot of different methods and ways you can do things, and talk to a lot of other beekeepers such as yourself and many other people. To learn things from them. I like to learn a lot of different things. Have an open mind from a lot of beekeepers, whether it be Bob Benny, you, or anybody in the comment section. That talks.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so much to learn from all these folks. I watch a lot of different creators on YouTube. Uh, I don't want to say I don't agree with them. I don't do everything the way they do it,
Right.
but I do see things. It's like, gosh, I hadn't thought about doing it that way. That's pretty cool. So there's always stuff to learn about bees. That's the cool thing. And there's a lot of different ways of getting to the same point. So that's why the old you ask a bee 10 beekeepers a question, you get 20 different answers, and it's not 20 wrong answers. There's just a lot of different options how you can do things. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I do have one more topic to hit on. Um, and this is for any beekeeper, if you're a beekeeper who's new or experienced or whatever. Now there's a lot of of course, right now this isn't a hot topic or anything, but since right now we're all talking about swarms, honey, and some things that's going on now. But of course, there's a lot of different things that people like to do about mite treatment. So I was just gonna casually ask you: is do you have a specific mite treatment that you like to do, or do you not like to do you not use treatments and what you test, and some of your preferences on some of these things?
Yeah, right now, pretty much oxalic acid. I used Apivar, so I won't be going back there. But all of my hives, I run screen bottom boards with the removable tray. I do the 4 or 5 rounds of OA. Usually after the 4th one or so, the mite drop is pretty much non-existent. If you have a hive that does, you can go ahead and treat them a time or two more, and it usually clears up. September. Then I'll hit them again November, December, January. And I did that this past year. And, to me, this is very Mike Berry-ish. This is not how you should do it, but this is how I do it. I look at it when I do a OA treatment and a mite, and look at the mite drop. That's kind of like I'm doing a mite wash on the whole colony. Instead of washing 300 bees in alcohol, I do an OA treatment, which should not. So the mites that are not in the brood. Well, if I can do an OA treatment and I only drop 20 or 40 mites out of a colony that's got 30 or 40,000 bees, I think I'm in pretty good shape. So that's kind of the way I look at it. It worked for me really good last year, and that's what I'm going to do again this year. So we shall see.
Definitely. Well, I guess we've been going about an hour. I guess we'll kind of get close to, closing it out. I do want to say thank you, Keith, for joining us tonight. I really enjoyed it. It was a really fun chat. I think a lot of people enjoyed it too. Got to be able to hear preferences and how everybody's season is going to be going. So I thank you again for joining us tonight. And I do want to say thanks to everybody else who's watching and supporting and things like that. And if you don't know who Keith is, make sure to check out his YouTube channel. I left it in the description below, so you just click on more, and you'll be able to go down and you'll see his channel and stuff, and you'll be able to click on it. You can check out some of his videos. He has some interesting stuff that he's able to show and stuff. And when you check out here, make sure to go on and click the thumbs up button and subscribe if you are just kind of new here and just figured you'd check in. We appreciate you, and make sure to sting the like and check Keith's channel. And we thank everybody, and thank you, Keith, again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Grayson, for having me. This has been fun.
Definitely, I enjoyed it.
It's good to see everybody. Y'all take care.
Definitely. Have a great night, everybody.
See ya.